I swear on my life, watching Manchester United right now, it ages you. That game there against Copenhagen, we should be breezing past Copenhagen in the Champions League. Ten Hag's pragmatic approach, it looked like it had backfired. But Andre Onana came up with a 97th minute penalty save. Harry Maguire delivering the goods with the goal. United 1-0 winners against Copenhagen that keeps us in the hunt to qualify for this from this Champions League group. My word, do we need to be better. But tonight, right now, we are going to be focusing on the positive of that save there. That, I hope, is the start of Andre Onana's Manchester United career. What a moment. What a penalty save, by the way. Seriously, McTominay, high foot. It was a penalty. It felt like the risk of that game was backfiring and blowing up in United's face. But you saw what it meant to him. And Harry Maguire coming up with the goal as well. Two heroes for Ten Hag when he needed players to step up. And look, I'll be honest, the majority of the team did not step up in that game. I think a lot of it was tactical, though. But that moment there, I hope that can be the beginning of Onana's Manchester United career. He's had a really shaky start, man. In both Champions League games, huge mistakes against Bayern Munich and Galatasaray that completely impacted those two games. He's impacted that game in the best way possible. Also made an absolutely blinding save in the first half, or the second half? I think early in the second half. Fair play, and even more fair play, really, to Harry Maguire. Man of the match against Sheffield United at the weekend. You know full well how much I've heavily criticised Harry Maguire, and I think it's been deserved. Also, at the same time, the praise for Maguire in these last two games has been deserved. When we play against teams that don't particularly press us, it gives Maguire more time. But that game there wasn't really about how he played and the sort of the physicality and the passing that we saw against Sheffield United. It was actually just coming up with a goal when United desperately needed it. When Ten Hag desperately needed it. And Maguire was the man to deliver. And Eriksen was the man to deliver the pass. Now, that game itself there, right? Erik Ten Hag took a risk. A massive risk, right? He played McTominay as basically a supporting striker for Rasmus Hojlund. And McTominay, the experiment did not work in any way, shape or form. I'll speak about a little bit more about McTominay later. But because of that, we had nobody in midfield alongside Amrabat. And Bruno, if you're going to play a midfield that has Bruno, you have to make sure that the other two just love to have possession, because Bruno is going to be the guy that doesn't really get too involved deeper in the game, because he's going to be looking for those sort of the balls into the final third. If you're going to play McTominay in that game, and because Ten Hag is desperate for goals right now, okay? He's desperate for goals. I know that's why he started McTominay. But he kept him on, and mate, in that second half, right, we switched. McTominay ended up playing deeper. But if you're going to have McTominay play deeper, then just take McTominay off. Put Mason Mount on there. He took Amrabat off. Was that an injury thing? Was that a tactical thing? Look, that could have really gone tits up for Erik Ten Hag had it not been for Andre Onana and that wonderful penalty save. Because had Manchester United, look, if we drew that game, there would have been a lot of anger towards how Ten Hag played in that game. I think a lot of it kind of reminded me how United played under Van Gaal. I remember at PSV, I took my dad. And it was a 0-0 and it was just drab. And there was nothing in that United team in that first half. Everything was pragmatic. It was slow. It was cumbersome. Because McTominay was playing as a supporting striker, we had no... Ten Hag, last season, when we lost our opening two games, we stopped playing out from the back. We went a bit more direct. We won 4 games in a row. This time, Ten Hag, we're not really playing out from the back. And McTominay has kind of stood up in these last couple of games, well, last Premier League games anyway, against Brentford and Sheffield United, and he's delivered. Tonight there, that McTominay experiment nearly backfired miserably. Bringing on Christian Eriksen at halftime was an absolute necessity. We needed somebody to play football. And it was a wonderful cross from him and a great headed goal. A player who, again, every time I watch him, I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed by Rasmus Hojlund, man. His off-the-ball movement. He is a proper striker. Like every time, sometimes, you know, when United are under pressure or previously, and we're just knocking it up to our centre forward, whether it's Martial, whether it's Rashford, whether it's anybody else, the ball just came back straight away. But it doesn't with Hojlund. It sticks to him. He makes it stick. He brings others into play. But we're just not making enough of the runs that he is doing because, as I said, we went into that game with a very pragmatic focus and tactics. And it nearly didn't work for Erik ten Hag. But it did because two guys stood up. Mate, Onana, that moment there has to be such a moment of relief for him. And I hope it can be the line in the sand. Because I'm under absolutely no illusions. Onana is a very good goalkeeper, all right? You don't go from playing in the Champions League final to all of a sudden being crap overnight. However, his form was in the toilet. And speaking of form being in the toilet, I haven't got a picture of Marcus Rashford here. I don't think I do. But Marcus Rashford, can we have a little conversation around Marcus Rashford? All right. I mean, what is with him? Even Garnacho when he came on, that touch, even Hojlund had a front. You could sense in the stadium there tonight that United, the players were a bit nervous. The way we played was nervous because Ten Hag is in results mode. All right. Right now, he just wants wins. Doesn't care about the performance per se. And there are going to be people saying, oh, well, the identity this and the identity that. Ten Hag is basically just like battening down the hatches until he feels he's got the players back. But what? We're going to wait for Luke Shaw to come back. I thought Reguilon coming back into the team would add more to Rashford's game, but nothing changed with Rashford. Nothing. I thought the Garnacho was going to come on for Rashford. He came on for Anthony, but even Garnacho with that heavy touch. I was like, I expecting everybody. And then Hojlund with the heavy touch. Oh, man, we needed that win there tonight. We're right now, Manchester United are a win by any means necessary team. That's what we are. Nothing really is flowing. And look, we've got Man City next, right? If we play like that against Man City, they're going to play through us because Erik ten Hag decided that he wanted the extra goal threat of McTominay rather than controlling midfield. Now, that just cannot happen against Man City. He has to play Amrabat. He can't play McTominay from the start. McTominay, bring him on in the last 20, 25 minutes if you want somebody arriving to the edge of the box. That's where the athleticism and the goal-scoring threat of McTominay is genuine. But if you're actually wanting to control a game of football, simply put, you can't start Scott McTominay. It's not his profile, all right? And I've really become kind of semi-obsessed, really, I suppose, in terms of looking at profiles of players. And he just doesn't tick the box in that regard, not in the controlling, patient build-up play, that the Ajax style that we all want to see from Erik ten Hag, and we're still yet to. And that's why Eriksen coming on. I was surprised it was for Amrabat, but Eriksen made such a big difference. But the McTominay experiment, in my opinion, ends there. It worked against Brentford because you use him as a substitute, and I think that's where McTominay has a strength in this squad. You use him against Sheffield United, and it worked again, but United didn't really have much control against Sheffield United. Look, 2 games there against Sheffield United and now Copenhagen, and United have scraped both of the games against opposition that we should be sweeping aside. I think Ten Hag will quickly learn that Old Trafford won't accept a completely pragmatic approach just for the results. As far as he was concerned, that was a needs must going into the game. But it can't happen against City. It cannot happen against City. But I just can't believe. Look, I've got to go back and speak about Maguire. As I said, I've criticised him so heavily that you have to praise players when they deliver. And the 3 players that I'm going to say, maybe 4 players. Maguire delivered with that goal. Onana delivered in the moment for Erik ten Hag. Christian Eriksen delivered when he came off the bench. And in my opinion, I think consistently most of the game, Rasmus Hojlund was delivering in the number 9 position. You can let me know what you think about Reguilon coming back in. He didn't look completely fit. That's why he was taken off. Varane getting 90 minutes before the derby. That's a good thing. I think he looked pretty sharp there tonight. But Ten Hag is... Oh, man. We have been in results mode and we've got wins. Right? Brentford, Sheffield United and Copenhagen. 3 wins on the spin. Now we're going into Manchester City. And we cannot play how we've played in these last few games, or we will simply put, we will not win that game against Manchester City. United have to be better, play better, every player be better. But there tonight, it was Onana that came up with the goods with that penalty save, and it was Harry Maguire who came up with the goods with that goal, and we needed it. Ten Hag needed it. You can let me know what you think in the comments below. Man, watching United right now, it's a tough watch. But as far as Ten Hag is concerned, that was job done there tonight. United got the 3 points.